Greetings, dancers of the circle. Today we are going to cover a pretty cool topic, and I'm going to give you a few tips on getting started with some magical alphabets, sacred alphabets, occult alphabets, and we're going to look mostly at ones based on the Hebrew alphabet and then Latin script. So I'm just going to show you kind of how I approach doing this type of work and an easy way to get started with both Hebrew and Latin. So, okay, let me show you kind of what I do when I pick ones that I like to work with, first of all. And these are some that are based on the Hebrew alphabet. I've got the Hebrew alphabet along here. I kind of forgot about Kof, if you're familiar with the Hebrew alphabet, so it's supposed to go right there. But I keep a list of stuff like this so that they're handy and I can create sigils or, symbols for my talismans or my amulets, depending on what I'm working on. And I'm going to show a few examples. But here on this first column that's in green, we've got celestial, and it's a real easy Hebrew script to use, especially for making sigils out of the letters. And then you see over here we've got some ancient Phoenician, and there are some similarities between these two scripts. And then over here on this third, I've got an old Hellenic script that's also based on the Hebrew alphabet. And I'm going to see if I can pull it a little bit closer so that you can see that some of them actually do start looking runic at a certain point. So these are some Hebrew-based scripts that I like to use. So, for instance, let me put some weight down on this. Here's a larger copy of that celestial alphabet. As you can see, it's mostly lines and circles and curves. So it's very easy to use to make something symbolic that you can work with to create art from, or just to use the sigil as it looks, like I've done over here. I've combined the letters Lamed and Bet, which is love in Hebrew, and, come up with my own sigil symbol. I can look at that, and every time I see it, I know that it means love, so I can put that on an amulet that I want to wear, or something along that line, based on the Hebrew alphabet. And keep in mind, too, the Hebrew alphabet has numeric values for each of the letters, too, which I've got under here. So let's say, you needed a talisman for, maybe you're a Douglas Adams fan and you want to have a talisman with the number 42 on it. Well, then you can make it out of Mem and Beth in the celestial alphabet and have a neat little sigil that way, too. Hey, put a sigil on your birthday cake. So these are some Hebrew alphabets. Here's another example. This is Apollonius of Tyana. This is one of his scripts. This is his Hebrew sacred script. And here I've just written out the word Bina. That's a sphere on the tree of life. And it's a beautiful script. So even if you wrote let's say you made a seal of some kind and you wanted to use a particular script to write around the corners of the seal, this would make a beautiful script for that. It does have kind of a runic appeal too, doesn't it? So this is Apollonius of Tyana. He also has a script based on Latin. And so I'm going to take a look at these. These are some of the Latin scripts that I like to use. Here's our A through Z. This is Theban, which you're probably familiar with and have seen. It is gorgeous. This is from the Alphabet of Incantations and Divinations, and I'll show you the book I got this from. And this is a Scandinavian Gothic alphabet that I just pulled off the internet that's in an upcoming book, and I wish I could remember the name of it. But scripts like this are actually really abundant all over the internet. I am sure find them on Pinterest. So these are three that are based on the Latin script. So, I could spell my name in any of these scripts, or again, you can use it to write around a seal if you're making a magical seal. So let me just show you some other examples first. Some alphabets. Here's another example. This is called, the top one is called Malachim. It's also an angelic script, because Malachim means the angels. And then this bottom one, which is also based on the Hebrew alphabet, is passing the river. It's actually quite popular too. And again, you can make some really crazy and cool designs out of something like this. So let me just show you a few that I've done. Here's that second one that we were, or let's see, yeah. This is the blue one that we were just talking about. I've got it written out there. And you can see me. I'm not very artistic, but I just took the letters for love, which ended up looking like the word jinx, which I thought was kind of fascinating. But when I worked with the image more, I got something that if I had any artistic skill this way at all, I would make an elephant out of, with the tail, the trunk and all that, the legs. And that could end up becoming a magical icon, a magical symbol, a sigil for love for me that I can use in magic. And it would, there's something obviously about a symbol and the power behind it. So that's just one unique way to go about creating your own. Let me see if I can find another. This is from the second alphabet here in pink, the alphabet of incantations and divinations. And this was also just an attempt to write out the word love. These are the letters for it, and you just play around with it. And again, if I was more artistic, but even that just by itself would work for me if I wanted to use it in a seal or a talisman or an amulet as a symbol of love. And you can also, think of this as art. I always think of it as art. I could see myself just having this as an art piece. So that's something I like to call sigil art because it also opens up a creative door and a spiritual connection to just have it as art, not necessarily with a magical intent, but just as art, which kind of is magic itself. And let's see, and finally, I just want to show you, let's see, a couple of books. This one I've had for quite a while, Angelic Magic. And this is actually where I got some of these scripts from. Let me see if I can. They have tables in their appendix of various types of scripts. And like I said, you can probably find this type of stuff on Pinterest as well. And then another work I also highly recommend is this one right here. I treated this on Angel Magic, edited by Adam McLean. This has a more alchemical approach and has ancient text that have been used in angelic magical practices from a variety of esoteric traditions. So, very cool book. And so, just some thoughts. All you really need is to find yourself a magical alphabet that appeals to you, and you can do all kinds of things with it. And I'll just show you my process just a little bit so you don't feel bad about, it can take a little work. But this is me just working on a variety of forms from different scripts. My magical name in Hebrew ended up looking a little bit like Venus of Willendorf. So just have fun, be creative. The runic alphabet is beautiful to work with as well. And eventually you can come up with some kind of image when all is said and done that appeals to you, like I did with this process working with Rose. And I believe this is that Gothic alphabet. So anyway, hope that spurred some creative thinking. It really is quite easy to come up with a sigil that you create from any variety of magical alphabets you want to use. Obviously, people are familiar with the Theban and the runic, but I recommend stretching out and trying some of the other ones too and see what appeals to you. So if you have any questions about this video, just give me a holler, and we can even do a one-on-one session if you want to work more specifically or more directly on creating a particular type of sigil or talisman. Just let me know. I can help you with that as well. And good luck on your quest for that magical and spiritual connection. Thank you, Dancers of the Circle. And we will see you next week with some more creative content for you to use in your magical and spiritual practice. Thank you for being a part of this project.